Sonic in the first film, I think you could see he was taken from, or not taken, he moved from his planet to our planet, and he was very lonely, and he was desperate for friendship, and he found that friendship, and so that's that one. The second one is him learning how to be a teammate with Tails and Knuckles. I think, if you look back at that, and it's like, oh, how do they work together and stuff like that. The third one is kind of him being a leader.
Well, in Sonic 3, Team Sonic faces a new enemy called Shadow. He's faster than Sonic, stronger than Knuckles, and with his powers of teleportation, he seems to be invincible. But he's not. He's just showing up in other places. Now, in order to fight this powerful Jungian archetype, they have to team up with, spoiler alert, Dr. Robotnik, who in their last encounter was, trigger warning, almost unalived, but spoiler alert, wasn't. The real twist comes when Ivo's diabolical grandfather, Gerald, shows up and brings new meaning to the life of his grand seedling.
The best part about making these films is usually the last 2 minutes of the film, which is when we get to tease what's next. And we've always been so fortunate that we have such a great library of characters. At the end of Sonic 1, we got to tease Tails coming into the story. At the end of Sonic 2, we got to tease Shadow. And seeing the fan response at the end of those movies and hearing it in the theaters and just people losing their minds and just screaming at the top of their lungs, and it just gives you such an incredible boost, and you just want to run right out of the screening and just get to work on the next movie, because you just know people are just so ready and going so crazy to see their favorite characters turn up in one of these films.
The Sonic universe is all-encompassing. Only a fool would try to quantify it. I think it was Carl Sagan who said, "For creatures as small as we, the vastness is bearable only through the collection of over 50 rings, or finding a Chaos Emerald." I'm paraphrasing, of course. Carl Sagan said something completely different, but I'm sure he was a big, big Sonic fan.
It fills you with, like, you know, all these good positive emotions of like, wow, we're still here doing this. And people want to see these movies. And they want to see him, and they want to see these new characters come in, and they want to see this family. And that, to me, has always been, I don't know, sort of familial element to it, is this like core, you know. He came to Earth feeling like an outsider and feeling lonely and sad about losing his family, and we created this family. We provided a family for him, and he did for us.
We now have two Robotniks, which, by the way, if you're a fan of Jim Carrey, you always want him putting on prosthetics whenever he can and making you laugh. I love Jim Carrey so much. So the idea that he's playing against himself it's just heaven to watch him be like a comedic mastermind against himself. And then also, for the first time ever, Robotnik teams up with Sonic for a little bit of this film. And so Sonic gets more lines of, you know, reluctant teaming up together, which is really fun.
2024? I've been trapped for 50 years? When I got the invitation, it was very exciting. And to play the character of Shadow, I was like, what? Yes. You know, I'd seen the Sonic films and liked them very much. So for me, to be a part of Sonic 3 and playing Shadow is very special.